Yo, welcome Tentoes family and welcome new subscribers. Yo, today we have some topics, right? Oh, yo, and first and foremost, welcome people that haven't subscribed and just need a little getaway from today's struggles. So, today's topic and discussion is basically YouTube. And what's crazy is I was dropping my son off at school right now and I had hit the gas station and I was just thinking that I've literally started so many things in my life, right? I've started so many things in my life and I have never accomplished one of them. And I've done some things in my life that actually hold value and actually could have brought me some really big opportunities. I used to work at this as a stagehand at Rhino Staging and Solutions, and from a carpenter basically building the truss and the stage for celebrities went to audio technician, which was setting up the speakers and the audio. And you get like these caddy boxes full of heavy cords, and you hook those up and wheel those around. And then after that you get promoted to lighting technician, and basically you set up the spotlights. And then after that you get promoted to camera work. And if you guys ever seen like the live video of a musician's concerts, and the spotlight and the camera's going crazy and all the different angles, that's what the camera technicians do. And they get paid really good money. And this is a story for another day, but I basically, I got fired over a really, really dumb reason, and it wasn't even, it's something that I didn't do. It's just someone that had something out for me. You know, let's see, I've also had really, really big opportunities in music. I've done a lot of shows, I've done concerts. You guys, so it's crazy, right? I changed up my whole alias, but you guys can still find all my music from, when I was running and gunning, or, doing stupid stuff, or throughout all my substance abuse and throughout my relationships and everything. I made a lot of music, from the ages of like 16 all the way until about 24, and I put out more than about 40 songs. So, yo, you can check out my music if you want to. I mean, it holds no value because I changed my alias. Not only that, I just, a lot of those beats are like free beats that you'd get and rap freely off of YouTube or so on and so forth. So, here I'll post a little pin right here so you can check it out on SoundCloud if you want to. But so yeah, I've had opportunities with that, and it got pretty far for me, to be honest with you. It was going good. My dumbass signed a record deal, and I didn't read the contract. I was just young and dumb, and I thought things were gonna finally like look up for me. But little did I know, I didn't make nothing off the royalties if there was any. I didn't make a penny off of album sales. They took everything, and it was through quotations, quote, quote, it was through Empire Distribution with some guy named Mr. Mono. So, yo, if anybody's also had that experience with that guy, that's crazy work, because that was a while ago. And if he's still around, scamming, then, yo, we got to get onto that guy. But yeah, so I've had opportunities in music and, you know, lots of views. And I've had opportunity to make music in Virginia. I've had opportunities to work in renovations and work inside of, I wouldn't really say the construction field, because renovations and constructions is a little different. Yeah, you're working on stuff and breaking stuff down and building stuff, but construction's a lot more. Well, I mean, you're outside most of the time. In renovations, you're just working inside the houses or apartments, or whatever, and what have you. But sorry, I had a little. Give me 1 second. Excuse me. Sorry, I had a burp. I just drank a bunch of water and took a dab before I before I got on here and started talking. So, yeah, I've had a lot of good opportunities. I've had, opportunities to, maybe start a business and, start a resale business. And to be honest with you, I haven't really found anything that's trending. So, that didn't really that didn't really work out. But also, my wife's soap business is going pretty good. We're still building inventory before we start like our line, but I guess on today's topic, and all of this is gonna correlate with what I'm going to say. But Basically, the only thing I've ever felt like I had a purpose doing and ever felt so committed to and consistent with is, well, you know what, this isn't really one of the things because it's just by nature, but being a father is something that I love. I love being a father. That's something that I feel like I have purpose with. When I have my kids around, like, yeah, don't get me wrong. If you're a parent and you had kids, right? If you do, and they're gonna give you a headache, and you're gonna feel like sometimes you just want to freaking, just give them a video game and just be like, yo, give me some space or something, you know what I mean, for a second. But they're a blessing, and that's really made me, you know, dig deep for my purpose in life. And I love my kids. My stepson, I really don't feel like he's my stepson, honestly. He's just my son. That's how I feel. And my daughter, and then we have a new baby on the way. And, it's gonna be a good family and a big family, and I know I'm gonna bring success for this family. It's just, how long it might take, and that's the stressful part. But the other thing that I feel like I really have a purpose with is here on YouTube. And it's not the cliche and the corny saying of, I'm a YouTuber, like YouTube gave me purpose in life. Like, it's not anything like that, but YouTube is the only thing I've ever felt committed and consistent with and have a drive for, and I just feel like I can't stop. And after figuring out how to edit or put out videos, because editing with videos isn't really too far along and far off from editing with music. And I had a lot of experience editing in music and mixing and mastering. So it's really not that far off. It's basically just grabbing little clips, putting them in, matching up the time from the sound to the audio to the video, you know, and then it's really easy if you match up your video with your audio, right? And then export it right away and then cut it and clip it from there so you don't have to constantly drag and this and that and the third dot dot dot. But I guess it's been a really good time being here on YouTube, and I've only been on YouTube for about 7 or 8 months, right? And it's been a journey, guys. Like, it's been a real journey. It's been a journey, and not really trying to find my niche because that I guess that came naturally, but more or less the journey of just being able to be myself with you guys. And it's crazy, like, along the way I did find what videos I wanted to make or what format or what layout works for me. And if you're a YouTube creator, you will find what works for you too. And the world felt like it wasn't going to end. It felt like I was in a constant loop of insanity because I struggled with substance abuse my whole life, right? And this is the longest time I've ever been clean. And I think YouTube really helps for that. YouTube really gives me something to do. It really, puts my mind at ease. It really gets me busy. YouTube makes me happy and look forward for the next day. Besides like my family. But so with my family, I don't really mention that because that's already like ingrained in my soul. Like, my family is already something that I look forward to and I love waking up to every day. And I love doing and getting it for my family. Like, all these extra shifts are becoming easier again because I know it's going to benefit my family. But YouTube is something that I look forward to every single day. Like, yeah, sometimes, don't get me wrong, I'm in my head, or sometimes I get a little bit, because I'm still on my mat services, so I still take my subs and at a very low dose too. But sometimes I have my bad days, and sometimes I don't want to record. But you know what? I get on this and I record because it just after I'm done recording, it makes me feel so much better. It's like going to the gym. You don't want to go to the gym, but as soon as you're there and you're done with the workout, you're just like, oh shit, like the pump. I got the pump. I'm coming, and then that's how it is. But yeah, so I look forward to this, and I look forward to making content with you guys and for you guys. And what's crazy is I remember starting out with no subscribers, 0 subscribers, guys, and now we have 80 subscribers, guys. And what's crazy? I've noticed I've been getting a subscriber or two a day. Like, that's very big. Like, and it's all natural. This is all natural. I'm not, paying for subscribers or, paying for um promotion to get my video out there. I'm just doing this all naturally, guys, and just being consistent with it, and just, giving something valuable. And just know that, you might fail at a lot of things in life, or you might pick up something and you might stop it halfway, 9 times out of 10 times, guys. But that 10th time you pick up something and you finally find that passion, you're going to give it your all and it's going to be great. And you know what? I want to thank you, YouTube, just because of the fact that there's so many, creators, millions and millions of creators, and YouTube has been a platform since 2005. So, it's given people room to just create. And YouTube is great. And I have a TikTok channel which I'll post right here, but I'm just really serious and focused on YouTube right now. And I love editing. The editing process can be a headache sometimes, especially like, if something lags out, or if the software closes down, and if it doesn't auto save, or if you haven't saved it and you got to restart it, or sometimes editing takes long depending on if you're making a video and how much you have to talk about, but it's all worth it. And guys, work with what you have. You don't need any fancy equipment. I mean, unless you're a channel starting a new channel and you already have success in one of your channels, and you know, that's actually a really good way to do it, is to, get the quality out completely, 100%. I wouldn't say perfect because nothing's perfect, but imperfectly perfect. Get the quality 100% that way. And a lot of creators know what they're doing, when it comes to, grabbing the attraction. And a lot of them, like me, are just starting out and figuring out along the way. But for YouTube to, get these creators on here and give them a voice, basically, it feels good. And growing your subscribers, it can seem intimidating, but if, like I said, you're putting out quality videos, and they don't have to be very perfect in the beginning, as long as working what you have. Because with me, I just have an iPhone, right? I'm just using my iPhone 15 Pro Max with this lavalier mic that my wife got me on the TikTok shop. And all I have is a little tripod, and I use my PlayStation 5 to capture my gameplay, and then record me on my phone and link it up. Like, it's a process, guys, but it takes work, and you're gonna feel like you're doing it for free for a minute. But as long as you're not doing it with the idea of, yeah, don't get me wrong, I'm doing this channel because I want to monetize this. I want to be able to spend more time with my family without having to break my back at work anymore. I want the financial freedom, and I want to be able to give back to my community. I want that more than anything. I really do. Like, that's just something that I strive for. I want that more than anything. But I don't come in with the mindset of, oh, I'm gonna do this video so I can make money one day. No, I'm doing it to get stuff off my chest. I'm doing it to give you guys room to escape, your harsh times of today, or whatever day or whatever struggles you guys are going through. And thank you, Tento's family. You guys are really giving me a voice and a platform, and I really appreciate you all. And I don't, script anything. I don't, have any plans for my videos. I just get on here and I just do the damn thing. And that's really all that counts. Every day, show up and show out, and it'll work for you. And I'm sorry if everybody, or whoever's watching this is going through daily struggles. Just know that you're worth everything, and life gets better. I felt like life wasn't ever going to get better for me. And I was sitting there alone, in a rehab, just like, damn, I have done this to myself about 5 times already. I already end up in jail a lot of times for really, really dumb stuff. And it was just time to give it a break, and it was time to, finally surrender myself. And when I did, the universe, or God, or whatever, you believe in, really worked with me. Or whatever I believed in really worked with me. And it put me in position that I'll never confuse with. And what was crazy was it gave me a lot of opportunities that I thought I would never have. I met my wife, who was a beautiful soul. I have a stepson who's my son. you know I have a new baby along the way. I got a vehicle. We have actually had two vehicles, but we had to get rid of the orange shit box, which was crazy work because it had no AC, and we're in the middle of Arizona, which is really hot. So, but yeah, and that's all I wanted to talk to you guys about today was, the beauty of consistency, and even if it gets hard, staying consistent and doing what you love, and just once you find that passion, throwing your all into it, it's gonna seem so much easier. And you guys can tell in the beginning of my YouTube journey, watch my first videos. The way I talk, the way I act, everything, I wasn't being natural, and I wasn't being myself. I was a little shy, but it comes naturally now. And I get excited to just hop on the camera and or just make a little, topics video like this. But I got much love for everybody, and yo, like and subscribe if you haven't already. Just know we're hitting this week with a lot of topics, gameplay, reactions, discussions, you name it. But yo, 10 Toes family, drink your water and eat your damn breakfast, 'cause it's good for your bones. But yo, on to the next one, and stay blessed, everybody. Later.